It's compelling, it's cutthroat, it's chaotic, it's clever, it's controversy and chaos, baby.
Well, hello, people. Welcome to episode 53. Oh, not with the gloves. Okay.
I got my gloves on today. This is
Okay,
actually.
gloves.
Let me put my thumb back in. Okay. This is an outfit. It's a one-piece bodysuit, jumpsuit, glove from WAYDAMIN that I got like in 2022. I actually really love this piece. It's very comfortable. That's one thing. Jada, I'm not gonna lie, her products are good. The prices, do I always love them? No, but I do feel like I think the money is well spent on the fabrics and the designs and things. Like, yes, it gives basics, but I've worn this as just a plain shirt. I've put cargos over top. I've basically what I'm saying. Her pieces are very versatile. It could be loungewear. You could dress it up. I love that. Now the makeup, I don't know. She's about to drop a what is it called? A lash cluster kit. I am interested in that because I do my own lashes sometimes, but I'm interested to see the price point. So we're going to see. Yeah, but yeah, this is the vibe today.
I just have on a sweater. Just have on a sweater. That's it.
Still cute.
Sweater. My regular basic jewelry that I always fucking wear.
Same.
I wear the same 2 necklaces every single day.
Literally. I threw something different in today.
I do. I see it right there.
Yeah. But it's still same shit.
I'm
going to stack the same couple necklaces.
I be feeling like I be trying to find other jewelry, and I don't know if it's just, I think what it is the full maximalism has not trickled all the way down yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just recently Fashion Week in Paris, and I love that a lot of the designers are putting like lives on TikTok because I would just watch them.
Yeah.
But from the things that I've seen, we are correct. Maximalism is it. I need me 30 bands right now. Actually, I need 300.
I'll take 200,000.
Let's go make it a cool million. Let's just round up. Let's just make it a cool million. Because the thing that I have seen,
I want it. I gotta have it.
And I want it. I got to have it. Like watching, I think Pharrell with Louis Vuitton, I don't think people appreciate it right now. But I personally think that it's going to be his time, his era, his run at Louis Vuitton is going to be like up there with the greats. Like when people talk about Gucci, like back in the day, they're talking about when Tom Ford was running Gucci.
Right.
That's the Gucci you want. And I think that he is going to have that. It's going to be like, oh, no, this was when Pharrell was with Louis Vuitton. May he rest in peace. I think what people think Virgil did is what Pharrell is actually doing. Like pushing the envelope. The designs are great. The bags
are
bagging.
They're bagging.
The bags are bagging. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you take a classic silhouette and remix it. And make it completely new. Like, oh, I've never seen this before. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I love when a brand has how do you explain it? Like the traditional, this is what Louis Vuitton is known for, but also like,
we can push the envelope.
We putting y'all onto something. This is fashion, okay?
Yeah,
for like girls. I love a moment that's like the girls that get it, and the ones that don't, and that's fine.
It's not even. I feel like it's more of the girls that get it right now, and the ones that don't, they gonna get it. They just gonna be late to the party when they finally get it.
Right.
But everybody's going to get it, and I just really like what he's doing. The last 2 shows that I've watched this year, I watched the spring show this year, the spring show last year. Just the sheer production of the show, I love. Like last year, it was the Western theme. Then when you started seeing your clothes everywhere, everything's Western.
Yeah.
So the things that you're seeing, if you are on that side of TikTok, if you're on like fashion TikTok and you start to see these things, these shows are basically telling you what you can expect to see in stores for the season. So Jacquemus his was phenomenal as well.
I missed his. I didn't see his.
Oh my God.
I'm looking up on YouTube.
Beautiful gown. Beautiful fucking gown. It was just amazing. There was polka dots. There was black and white. There was feathers. There was just different silhouettes. There is a lot going on. And I don't know if you've seen Kelly Rowland on Jennifer Hudson's show.
Yes.
Her outfit, a lot of the Jacquemus pieces looked like that. Okay. So like very exaggerated shapes. The long blazers with like the skirt, which typically having the pinstripes all the way down. Like I just thought it was so good. They did a whole like polka dot number. I said, are we getting polka dots for the summer? That's gonna be so girly and so cute. I can't wait. And I will be finding me some shit with some fucking polka dots on it. Okay.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever been a polka dot person.
I like pattern. I really like
patterns. I do like patterns and different things, but
clearly.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever been a polka dot person in my adult years. I can only think of like one time I had this like mini polka dot black dress with white polka dots from H&M. It's like a mini dress that was really cute. And I wore it with like this really long bubble coat. Wait, we're in the picture together, I think. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. So yeah, I do want to experiment more with patterns and colors, but I don't know about polka dots.
I'm excited for the polka dots.
Yeah, we're going to see.
I'm excited for the polka dots. I'm excited for the patterns, the grandness of it all.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm more so loving the styling of pieces, the layered looks, the mixing and matching. Like this ain't supposed to go with this, but it look fire. Like I like that. I like that.
And it's coming, and I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up on YouTube because I didn't see that one.
Yes, look it up. So good. They had a great one. Schiaparelli had a great one. Like theirs beautiful.
I would say I saw a lot of
theirs
clips from that one too.
Armani Privé, theirs was really good. I could see their stuff. They have a very distinct style and they stick to it. Theirs is very like classic fashion, classic silhouettes. But I could see like them shutting award season down. Like the dresses, I was like, oh, I could think right off the top a couple bodies that need to be in those dresses. Listen, so this award season, I could see.
We got award season. We got, what is it called? We got award season. We have the Met coming soon. The Met
is coming like
soon. Yeah. So I'm excited too.
See some things.
Yeah.
It's just also crazy how fashion is just also connected because now of everything being like suiting has been a thing for, I would say like the past like 2 years. And now it's just, they're just doing it in a more exaggerated way. But even the theme for the Met being men's fashion, it's like men's fashion, the suiting, it's like everything is going together. And this is where we're about to take it. So
yeah,
I'm very excited.
Love that.
Very, very, very excited with that. If I did not say, this is our 53rd episode.
And is
3rd episode.
Welcome back.
Listen, I be trying to remember to get that out the way at the top of the episode, but it doesn't always work that way. Yeah, I feel like we have not talked recently.
These weeks have just been so much like...
We have not talked recently, and I just be like so busy. And it's like, I know you're busy. So I just like, I'll call her later. And then they were like, it'd be later. And I'm like, fuck, I never called. I never fucking called.
And then you already know, like after 5:30, it just goes downhill from there. Like I can want to call somebody and then I call them. And then you got the kid in the background being loud as hell. Now she's in this phase of mommy play with me. And I'm like,
play.
Now I have to play with you. And I can have it in my AirPods and be talking. And she's like, mommy. I'm like, so yeah, we're in that phase. We have been knucking and bucking all week. She's in the phase of wanting to play fight with me. I don't know why. I don't like to play fight. Like,
don't play fight because I'm going to knock you out.
She's definitely given like mommy play with me, make believe storylines, like the Barbie dream house that you got her, and then her Bluey beach house and the cars and the figurines, like their storylines. Last night they all came to Barbie dream house to go to the pool and cook dinner. The setup is still over there. I'm gonna take a picture and show you, because you have them sitting at the table with the grilled hot dogs in the middle and they're eating dinner. Then you have someone in the kitchen, they're cooking and whatever, making pizza. And they got someone in the bed because they needed to take a nap. They were sleepy. And then it's just a whole storyline. It's just, and she does little voices too. She'll be like, let's say she's playing with Bluey and Bingo. So she'll do one voice like, Ingo. I don't know where the B is at, but she calls him Ingo. And then Ooey, no B. Just and so she do one voice for Bingo, one voice for Bluey, another voice for the Barbie. I'd be like, your imagination is
it's wild. Listen, she might be a new voice actor. She might be a voice actor.
She's gonna be something.
I might be on one of those shows like Family Guy. Then you find out that one person did 6 voices.
Yes.
That might be her calling.
I could definitely see that because she already does that with the characters, and it's so funny to watch. And like Matt, you know, he's a guy. Like I really feel like boys and girls play differently in their childhood. They do. I don't know if we talked about this on the pod or if we talked about this in real life, but I know we talked about it.
Not in real life.
But one day, Celine was like doing her little make believe thing, her storyline, and Matt's just looking at her like, I'm like, that's normal. Like I did that, and I played with my Barbies up until I was like 12. Now maybe even 13. Like it evolved over time. Like I had my Barbies get jobs, married, have kids, all the things. And then eventually when I discovered Sims, I did the same thing on Sims. So I feel like most Sims. Yes, my Barbies turned into Sims. So I definitely think that like that's why so many young girls are into playing Sims, because we do a lot of role play, storylines. It's like reality TV, like, but just at our fingertips. So her playing with these little figurines and dolls and things like that is going to grow into her doing Sims probably. You never know. She might be like, what is it called? Sims character creator. And like there's this one Black girl who designs like Black hairstyles and different things for the Sims. Yes. Creative. Very creative.
And that's when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about, because people don't want to talk about how much of a skill that is to be able to do that and integrate it into a game. That takes a high level of skill to be able
and
to
intelligence
and it's like
and creativity, like
Black women.
Yeah. So yes, I don't know what that little girl's gonna grow up to be, but I guarantee whatever she does,
it's gonna be something very creative.
It's gonna be something creative and in the arts. Yeah.
Yes. Celine Nurse is going to be very artistic.
Yeah.
She's going to be in entertainment, honey. She might be the next Issa Rae. You might have an Issa Rae on your hands.
She might. Even down to the outfits and the clothes. Every day, like, I don't pick out her clothes anymore. Because when I pick out something, no, not this one. Like, literally, not this one. I'm like, girl, okay, what we gonna wear?
Clothes on.
We go to her room. She's like, this one and this one. Right now, she's into wearing dresses, sweater dresses, shirts that are long, that look like dresses. So we argue about that. It's wintertime. It's cold as the fuck.
Girl,
you have to put the leggings. Yes, you have to put the leggings or the tights on with the dress. That's the compromise. And you got to put your undershirt under your sweater dress too. You ain't getting no chest cold. So that's... It's like, listen, you want to wear the dress and the long sweaters and the this and that, fine. But you got to wear the leggings and you got to wear the undershirts. And she's 2. And it baffles my mind that I'm going through this with a 2-year-old. It is crazy. So, yeah. Yeah.
Listen, girl. Yeah. I love that. But I love that kids like start showing what they're very interested in. And it's just like, I feel like all kids probably do it. You just have to pay attention to it. Like, I noticed that in school, I think Harper's favorite subject is history.
Really?
I think that's going to be her thing.
I wonder why.
Usually, like, if you ask a kid what they learned at school, I don't know. Nothing. What did y'all do today? Nothing. I'm like, no. And her teacher is an old school teacher. So I know y'all got a jam-packed day.
Yeah, y'all learned something.
Y'all learned something. Things. Y'all did something today. There's no just chilling. We sat in the class. We watched a movie. They ain't got that kind of teacher. Y'all learned some things. But the only subject she actually comes home and talks about is history.
I love that.
Now, the way she remembers the facts, I don't know.
Give me an example.
Girl. So she came home. Well, we went to actually meet her teacher. We just had like a meeting with her. And she was telling us about when they were learning about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let me put
Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, let's put all the titles, okay?
Yeah.
So they were talking about it, getting ready for MLK Day, and Harper was just like, "I don't like white people. They're evil. They killed him." And her teacher was just like, You're not
out of
wrong.
the mouth of babes.
I cannot agree.
I can imagine her teacher like, you a little loud. Okay, we have
She
one-on-one conversation.
she don't care about being loud. She don't give a damn about none of that. And she was so serious. The first year when she learned about it in kindergarten, she came home, and when I tell you she was distraught, she came home. They killed him. I said, who did they kill? And when did you hear about this?
Oh my God.
I'm like,
yeah,
like,
they killed him.
And she's like, at school. And I'm like, who did they kill? I'm so confused because she's not giving me a full story. So I got to keep asking all these questions to get to the bottom of what the hell is going on.
Right.
So
like,
I'm
who was killed?
Who died?
Who did the killing?
The king. I said, the king? And then I was like, oh, no. Then she said, not Martin, Marlon. Marlon King. Said, oh.
Well, at least she's retaining the information. Okay?
Yes. And that's why I'm just like, okay, I think you really like history. So she did that in kindergarten. And now that she's in first grade, every time she talks about something significant, she came home to tell us about George Washington's birthday. They talked about presidents. And at one point when it's back time for the election, they talked about that. So and she comes home and that's the information that she shares. So I'm like, okay, this is clearly what resonates with you. I think you like history. So this summer, we're going to take her to Philly to go see the Liberty Bell. We'll go to Betsy Ross's house. I need to look up some other things. We'll take her to the Rocky Steps. Like we have to make a whole weekend in Philly for all the sightseeing things. And then
also think about, there's a lot of, well, this might be a little too much for her, but there are some historical places in Frederick too, and Gettysburg. So that's like 20 minutes. So
we're going to do that this summer. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe you'll just have a historical summer. We'll go to Philly.
You're going to have to take her to Savannah.
I don't know.
That's historical.
Like, no, so like even here in Atlanta, the King Center, like we've been, but she wasn't born yet. So she's gone, but his house is it's getting renovated. So I'm like, well, when it opens, then we can go there. We drove past it. So I'm like, well, when it reopens, you can go see the house. You can go to the King Center, which is literally right across the street. I was like, you can go and we can do that. I'm like, this summer, I'm like, the monument in DC. I'm like, well, I can take you to see the statue in DC. So I'm just trying to get her to, go see all the different monuments and like different things that she can do this summer. She's old now that she's finally old enough. She's going to be tired of all that damn walking. But
we got to get my girl a wagon.
No, she going to walk. Get your legs. Let's go. So I'm just like, these are the things that you like. Okay, so let's invest and foster in this. This is what you clearly like. So I think history is going to be her thing.
You just sparked a thought with all this talking about Martin Luther King. Mind you, this is not my random question of the day. However, I have to ask you. You saw how the Trump administration is trying to open the files or whatever for Martin Luther King and some other people. Although I do want to know what is in there, like what is the tea and the details that we aren't supposed to know. I do want to know those things, but I do feel like it's being done for a salacious reason, not because the American people deserve to know about these historical figures. I feel like
it's like dangling a carrot in front of it. It's like, ooh, let me dangle this in front of your face so you're not paying attention to all the fuck shit I'm actually doing in the background. Like, I want y'all to focus on this. It's very intentional. It's just a distraction.
But not even that. I also think it's going to be divisive in the sense that I think it was maybe Eric Dyson or Roland Martin. One of them said that there are allegedly things in Martin Luther King's file or case or whatever that will show him negatively amongst the Black community, whether that's the affairs with white prostitutes or whatever different things. So I'm just kind of like, I do understand that us as Black people, us meaning me and you, two things can be true and we are very understanding of that. But I do think there are some people
that aren't going to understand.
Aren't going to understand duality of life.
Right.
Like just how some people think that like, that's a whole nother tangent for a different day. So I'm never going to go down that rabbit hole. But two things can be true. So I'm saying all that to say during this lovely month of African-American history, that's what I'm calling it. Power to the Blacks. There are plenty of things that you're going to find out about our ancestors and people that are in our lineage that you may or may not agree with, and that's fine. That doesn't take away from the things that they've done to progress the Black community. I'm leaving that there.
And that's the things, like, don't lose focus. This is all a distraction. stay focused. This is a distraction. That is what they do. It's just like, I want to sow doubt. I don't want you to feel as powerful as you are. So this is how I'm going to distract you, and I'm going to cause infighting in between y'all.
Yeah, because there's always...
I'm going to cause infighting, and then y'all going to forget what the real objective was supposed to be. That's what it's for. And that's why I'm kind of just like, nice try, Donnie. You gonna trick some, but you ain't tricking me.
And I think also now that we have Hillman Talk University, I think that'll also help. And
just especially started by a mistake.
Literally a mistake.
It started by a mistake. And I'll just be like, I love Black people so much.
Yeah.
Because literally. We will take some shit and just run with it. We are gone. We don't, no background. No, this what we doing? Nope. Oh, okay. Well, let me get up here.
This what we doing? We doing it. Like, right. I got a skill of something.
Yeah. Teach all these skills that I fucking know. And I'm here for it. I am here for the Black educators coming out, the collegiate professors. Like, okay, now let me really show y'all how we getting down over here.
Right. And there are some who hate to see us
just like...
Yeah. And honestly, I do think that with it being Black History Month, it is important for us to learn more than just the basic American Black history that they provide to us, especially because a lot of that is missing a lot of context. It's whitewash. It's missing a lot of context. It's missing a lot of nuance. Like, to know that people didn't know that Nat Turner's body was turned into purse, wallets, and was eaten. How y'all don't know that? But there's certain things that even I don't know that I've learned on the internet. So I welcome all information for us Black people to learn more about ourselves and our people and our culture. Because one thing we do have is culture. And I don't want to hear nobody say anything else.
Yes, we have culture. We built this shit brick by brick.
And I'm going to stand on that every time. I don't care.
I don't care. I'm like, all of the things, whether they want to give us the credit or not, we've only ever been to space because of Black women. Clock that. Like I really take real offense to people trying to continuously downplaying us, or even us trying to downplay ourselves. No. You need to really look into something. Don't just take things at face value. The picture that they put on there as, oh, this is the person that invented it. No, look into that some
more. Dig a little deeper. Yeah.
Dig a little deeper, and I guarantee you're going to find the real person like, oh, that's us. That's us too. That's also us. Us. We all over this shit. So yeah, don't just do it for the 28 days of February. But really, I feel like it's very important to understand your history and know who you are, look into it, and you got to teach the kids. So this summer is dedicated to teaching the kids. You know, my mama is a Black historian. I think now she should have been a professor.
Yes, I could see that.
Like, you know, like Professor Johnson's African American Studies class. Yeah, that's what I feel like that's her real calling.
I could see that.
I feel like her calling has always been to teach. She teaches in a different way. But so I guess, yes, she serves her purpose in life. Her purpose is to educate.
To be an educator.
That has always been her purpose.
Yeah.
But I could see her teaching on a collegiate level, and I guarantee, baby, that'd be the hardest class ever. That'd be the hardest 3 credits you're gonna fucking earn. The hardest 3 credits you're gonna earn. And I just know that she would be like an old school teacher, like printing every paper out, writing
copies
on it,
and then copies,
just wasting paper. Copies.
And red ink your ass out.
What? She was like,
circle.
There's no comma there. Circle that. This is wrong. Here you go. Here's your paper. And you be like, I know that she will be that professor that give you your paper face down. If just keep that on face down. Keep that face down and keep it going. Better luck next time. But yeah, I feel like that. Those two, I'm just the host. Like, I'm like, clearly that's your mama. I'm just here. I'm just a Siri.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes, honestly. I can see that.
So I told you, I've been trying to challenge myself to kind of change the way I operate this year. And like specifically with work, like, you know, I work a lot. Some would say I'm a workaholic. I don't want to be that. So I've been trying to be very intentional about the way that I work to work smarter, not harder, make other people on my staff do their jobs so that way I don't have to. And also setting myself a deadline, like 3:00 on Fridays, I want to be done.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, that everything, my team has everything. And even not just for me, y'all can be done at 3:00. I'm like, give or take, monitor the email box for our clients. Just make sure we're not just like completely missing an email. But if you send me some shit after 3:00 on a Friday, baby, that's a Monday request. It will not be getting done.
Especially if it's not an emergency.
If it's not an emergency, you sending it to me that late, girl, I'm gone. But yeah, I want to be done working at 3:00 on Fridays. If I can be done earlier and give myself half day Fridays, I would love that.
Yeah. I don't think
give
that's
me
bad.
some pretty fucking weekends. Like, I need to just chill and relax.
Yeah. Especially because earlier in the week you work so much. It's like it could be 9:00 at night. I'm like, you're still working?
Like, yes, unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately.
What is you doing over there?
And I'm trying to just make myself do that. Like, okay, if I had to, because I'm an accountant, so there are going to be days that you just have to work that late. It's the nature of the business. Certain seasons, you are just going to be working that late because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But taking those times, okay, if I work 9:00 the night before, I'm not jumping online at 9 a.m. the next day.
Right.
Y'all will see me 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, if I had to work late the previous day, I'm not don't expect me to be here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 9 a.m. No, I got shit out the door. I'm going to take it upon myself and I'm going to come in later. Or I'm going to log on.
Yes, you should.
I'm going to log on later because I put the hours in. My work is never an issue. Pretty much my work is damn near clean every single time. So I'm like, I'm going to give my own self. This is part of me giving myself grace. So 3 p.m. Fridays, you're a part of my accountability staff. I got my husband, got you. 3:00 on Fridays, I would like to be done.
I like that. That's good.
Duh. Random ass question. Okay, let's see what we got today.
Okay, this could be surface level or it could be deep. So, what is one misconception about you that you feel like, y'all, that's not me at all? Like, what is one thing about you that you wish people understood or knew?
That people knew?
I could go first. You want me to go first?
No, because you asked me the question. You can't give the answer first.
I know, but I'm giving you time to think. I wrote them down, so I had time to think about them.
All right, go ahead. All right.
Okay. Mind you, I just wrote this down this morning, so I didn't have that much time. But I feel like for me specifically, I have a hard time really conveying who I really am as a person. Like, I think I come off very not who I am. And I wish people would know that I'm not serious at all. Like, I'm not serious. I'm very unserious. I'm very silly. I'm very goofy, but that doesn't read. Like, people don't read that about me. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about me, that I'm just so serious and I'm so stern and so nasty, so rude. And that's like so not me. Like, I'm goofy as fuck. Like, I think I'm the goofiest when I'm home. Yeah. I'm the goofiest when I'm either home alone or if I'm like with you or Eb or somebody who's equally just as dumb. Like, I'm very goofy. I'm the person that I will randomly break out and start dancing, just doing something stupid, listening. Like, I don't know. But yes, guys, I'm very unserious. I have a lot of dry humor, a lot of sarcasm. Yeah, I think that's the biggest misconceptions about me and one thing I wish people would know. So yes, I think the podcast helps too. Yeah.
Yes. Because it's just like you can see the personality. Like, here I am. This is what I got going on. For me, well, I think it's very easy. Like, I'm very nice.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah.
I am very nice. Like, yes, I am very quiet. When I don't know you, I'm observant. I am just observing what's going on. I'm not upset. I'm not any of that. I'm just observing what's going on. Like, some
You're
people
peeping the scene.
I'm peeping the scene. I'm casing things out. I'm seeing who operates like what, who does what, how does that.
People watching.
I'm just people watching. How that always comes across as bitchy or rude or mean, I don't know. But
I can tell you
like, why?
3 main things. 1, you're light skinned, and there's already the
I hate that though. It's like, I can't do shit about this.
I'm telling you what the public will say, okay? 1, you're light skinned. 2, you're pretty. 3, you have RBF. So do I.
Right. I can't get wrinkles.
It's nothing. It's nothing you can do about it. You could be sitting there like this. Oh my gosh, she's so rude. Why she got an attitude? Because I'm not smiling.
Like, well, and that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Probably 80% of my time, I am smiling. 80% of the time, I am smiling.
See,
I
don't know what it's like to be in a room with you with other people that you don't know. Normally, if we're in a room together, I know you, so we're talking, we're conversing.
Like we're interacting with each other. But it's just like, I've always been that way. Like, yes, I'm laughing, I'm smiling. Like, for the most part, I'm making a joke somewhere.
Very much so. Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand what people don't understand. It's one of those things, like, I'm not changing it because I know I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's a misconception, and it's just like, it used to really bother me, but now I'm just like, it's your hoes fault. It's your hoes fault. Like,
you know who you are as a person, but I also think that, like, because of how you look, which is nothing that you can do about this, but because of how you look and how you dress and how you present, that is either going to make other women in the room feel insecure. Clock that T. And so they will react a certain way. And this is what I've also learned about myself too, because I am friendly. Like, I'll talk to anybody, but I'm also someone that if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to talk. Like, I am not going to make conversation just because we're in the same room. I don't got shit to say. And I'm also the type of person, if you compliment me, I don't feel like I need to compliment you back. If you say, oh, I like your shirt, I'm going to say, oh, thank you so much. I'm not going to be like, oh, thank you so much, you're so pretty, if I don't think you're pretty. You see what I'm saying? But things like that.
The force, like, I have to...
Yes.
The polite thing,
I don't feel the need to do that.
The polite thing is to just say thank you.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, girl. Like, that's more so me. But then when it's that awkward silence of like, okay, what about me? Tell me what you think about me. It's like, that's when it becomes crickets. Because if I don't got nothing to say, I'm not going to say it.
I feel like that comes from like this whole, like, everybody gets a trophy mentality that people have nowadays. It's like, that's not how this works. Like, everybody doesn't get a trophy. Now, if I genuinely do like something, then I'm gonna let you know. But if it's just like, I'm just saying it to
make you feel better,
to make you feel better, to be like, or to just like make you think a certain way about me, like, oh, I want her to think that I'm nice, or I want them to think that I'm nice and I'm friendly, so let me say something back. It's just like, I'm not gonna do no shit that's not real or that's not genuine to me. I'm just not fucking doing it. That's not how I operate. I'm just not fucking doing it. Now, I am not that person who has any issue complimenting other people. Like, if you did the damn thing, baby, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, if there's a compliment to give, I'm gonna give it.
Willingly, easily. Like, you ain't gonna have to ask for it. You don't have to say anything nice back. You can just say thank you and keep it moving. Or thanks. Like, thanks is cool and keep it pushing. Literally. But yeah, I don't know what I can do about that. It used to really bother me, but now it's just kind of like, it's your loss. I'm cool. I know exactly who I am. I know what kind of person I am. So if you want to be like, oh, Teray's a bitch, then I'm gonna just be a bitch. But the people who know me know that I'm very much a genuine person. I'm very nice, very thoughtful, very giving.
Yes, very.
I do have a low tolerance for bullshit. I get annoyed very easily. But for the ones that know, they know that they can count on and rely on moi. Okay.
And I also feel like us as people, we are an experience. And not everybody can experience what I got going on over here. So
sometimes it be crazy town.
Sometimes I might need you to sign an NDA to have a conversation with me, because only God knows what's about to come out this mouth.
It's very much whatever I say, just keep it right here. Don't
keep it right here.
Now, if I found out you went and told them over there, why would you do that?
Your privileges will be revoked.
Snatched.
So, yeah.
But yeah, the misconception. But yeah.
I mean, honestly, the older I get, the more I don't even give a damn.
The more less I give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I have officially like run out
of fucks.
Yes. I'm all up in my 20s. I ran through them fucks quickly. So now I'm just like, okay.
Because it's just way too many, like, literally everyone has an opinion or feeling about something. So there's way too many fucks for me to have to give. I don't have that many in my bucket of fucks. I don't.
Yeah, it's just like.
So I got a handful left, I think. I think I personally have a handful left. So I'm going to use them wisely.
Yeah. I got to go buy some more.
Yeah. I don't have any to loan you. I don't have any to loan you, but.
Right. Do they sell those at Costco's? I'm going to need them in bulk.
Buy some fucks in bulk.
Fucks in bulk.
I ran out. Running low.
Not a singular one. Oh yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
That's really how I feel. Oh fucking well. Yeah. But yeah, our main topic of today.
Mm-hmm.
The trend on TikTok of losing your spark.
Okay, I have a couple thoughts.
Let me give the backstory of the losing your spark. For the people that don't know and they're
Yeah,
like,
in the TikTok
what?
streets.
That don't be in the TikTok streets that are like, okay, what are these girls talking about? So there's a new trend on TikTok. Basically, it's called like losing your spark, where women are sharing their experiences after becoming mothers. Now, everybody's experience is a little different. Some people are telling like their actual motherhood journeys and how it affected them personally, like as individuals. And then some other people are just like sharing like, oh, this is how I guess kept it. And some people's it's more of like an emotional internal thing. And then some people it's just like outward appearance. So it's very mixed bag. You kind of don't know what you're going to get on the video when it comes across
Just
your
like
feed.
motherhood.
Literally, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get, but that's a lot of it. And there is some backlash going on about it as well.
Now, what's the backlash? Like sharing it or
no, the backlash isn't necessarily. I guess some of it is about people sharing it. I've seen two things. I've seen mixed bags is clearly my fucking phrase. That's gonna be the name of this episode. Mixed bag. But people kind of basically saying like, oh, if you had somebody that loved you properly, or if your situation was like this, then you wouldn't have felt like you lost your spark. So some mothers are condemning other mothers for the way that they're experiencing motherhood, which I don't
feel like
I don't agree with.
You shouldn't victimize somebody.
Yeah, that's more so what it is. It's like the victimization of people who dare to say that motherhood is not all sunflowers and rainbows.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. So you have those people, and then you have the people that are there to support or that are also pointing out the different nuances. Like, why are you here condemning people rather than just, if you're here to offer advice, then offer genuine advice. Don't
or support.
Come here to support. You don't come here to shame people or make a whole long ass dissertation video about that people aren't mothering properly.
Especially if you've never had to mother. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves are women who have never been a mother, whether that's through having children or being a foster or adopting or anything. If you've never been a mother, I don't want to hear you talking about this person has postpartum or this person is experiencing this because she's a mother. You haven't worn those shoes. I don't want to hear you criticizing. Now, to say, I think this person might be going through X, Y, Z because of this is one thing, but saying, yeah, she's going through that because of this is another. You're not an expert, you're not a doctor, and you've never experienced it. Yeah. Like, even me, before I was even a parent, I've never necessarily said, oh, I don't know why they doing that. Because, like, every child is different. And I don't know if that's because I grew up around a lot of kids. I've seen a lot of different parenting styles. Some I agree with, some I don't. I feel like how you parent and how you mother is up to you. So I don't like when people who have never put them shoes on, like tiptoeing around in that lane. Stay in your lane, babes. So there's that. I also feel like, it doesn't matter what village you have. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter all these different things. Being a mother is definitely a mixed bag. You don't know, and you don't know until you know. And that's what I can honestly say. Like, my biggest fear when I was pregnant was figuring out how I was going to show up as me after post baby. So losing myself, losing my spark and all these things has always been something that I've been like cognizant of. And that's because I've seen plenty of women go through postpartum. Postpartum doesn't mean you're depressed. I think every woman gets baby blues because one minute you're just a person, literally. Next minute you're a mom and you have to think, eat, sleep for your child, especially if you're a nursing mother. You can't eat the way you used to eat. You can't sleep the way you used to sleep. You can't even think the way you used to think. So you're no longer an individual. Doesn't matter what the father is doing. What are you doing? So that's, I think, a reality most women, we might know, but we're not prepared for until you're in those shoes. So that has always been my fear. And I have not experienced postpartum depression. I did experience baby blues and like mother fear. We've talked about this before. I was afraid to leave my house, like with my child. Like, I did not take my child anywhere by myself, ever. Probably for the first, maybe like 5 months. If I was going somewhere, somebody was coming with me with this child. Even like when I would drive, I would overthink. Like, when I drive, I never overthought anything. Like, yeah, drivers on the road are crazy, but when you have another passenger, something so precious and small that's like depending on you for everything in the car, I used to get so afraid. Like, oh my God, this driver's driving too close. Like, if you hit my car and I got my baby in my car, I'm gonna go the fuck off. Like, you get stuff like that when you become a mother. Even that could, like,
those
it could
kind of things
be,
can drive you crazy.
Yeah. So reasons like that were reasons why I'm like, if I'm going out the house, I'm away from my husband or my mama or somebody else to come with me. Because, and I also think I was waiting for postpartum depression to hit. It didn't hit, thank God. But I think also maybe because I was always thinking about it. And anytime I felt like any sense of like, and this is just me personally, anytime I felt any sense of like baby blues or anything, I would like do something to try to like distract myself. And I think sometimes if you're not cognizant or thinking about it, it can easily just swipe in and take you out. Like, if you're being vocal about it, like, oh my God, I feel like X, Y, and Z, then it's kind of like beating the bully before the bully beats you up. That's how I think about it. Like, I don't think any woman specifically is quote unquote immune to postpartum depression. I think it could hit anybody. It doesn't matter how present the father is or is not. I think it helps if you have a father who's super hands-on. But let's be honest, those first couple of months to a year of a child's life, it doesn't matter what the dad is doing. Especially if you're a breastfeeding mom, it don't matter. You're the primary parent. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, you are. I am literally, if you're breastfeeding, I am the food source. So literally. I don't pump
and also
ain't no food.
Also the source of comfort. Because if your child's anything like my child, she would not take a pacifier. Her comfort was laying right here on my chest and sometimes having a titty in her mouth.
Harper ain't really do pacifier. Well, we never gave her the pacifier. I tried to give it to her like once.
I tried. It didn't work.
Like, I don't want this, girl. What the fuck is this?
This little fake ass nipple. What is this?
Yes. And people don't want to talk about breastfed babies are clingy.
Even now.
They're clingy. Yes, they
doesn't
are
stop.
freaking clingy.
Yeah.
Harper, now that she's 6, she don't really give a damn about me that much anymore. But sometimes I'll just be like, yes, like, you are very clingy. I know you are.
Yeah.
And that's a breastfed thing. I really feel it's a breastfed thing. Like, they just be on you. And I just feel like
it was so bad for me to the point where, like, now that we're thinking and talking about having additional children, I'll be like, ooh, I don't know if I want to put that baby on my titty, because getting this one off, oh my gosh. Even now, Celine will come up to me at her big ass 2-year-old, 32-pound self, talking about, oh, mommy, when? You're not a baby, and rubbing my boobs. I'll be like, she literally says, when? You're obsessed. Go away.
Be so real.
No lie. That's also part of her role play in her characters. But when the baby, she's like, when? Mommy, baby cry. Get the bottle. Like, you don't get it. I'm not no grandmama. Leave me alone.
No, the mama is the baby.
Literally. Not even the grandma. The mama is the baby. So, yes, I think I said a lot. So I will let you have the floor now. But I think my biggest fear in motherhood was losing myself. And I feel like when I first got married and was having a child, I feel like I had just stepped into me. Like, I feel like I just got comfortable with like the adult version of myself, and losing that was like the biggest thing that I didn't want to do. So every day wasn't good, but I do think that like the minute I started to see different signs of me being fearful or having mom guilt or different things, I literally pushed myself to not do that. Even, Celine wasn't in daycare for the first year, but she started going part-time with your mom. So it's like, okay, it started with 1 week. Then it started with, or not 1 week, started 1 day a week. Then it started 2 days a week. I said, you know what? Go full-time. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that. It's like you have to push and make yourself be uncomfortable in that space because it's unfamiliar. And then, so that's what worked for me. But I can't speak on anyone else's experience, because who's to say my next child what I'm going to be like? It might be a completely different experience.
Yeah. It could be like totally different. Well, for those who do not know, I went through postpartum depression for like full postpartum depression for 2 years. And I think for me, it kind of started very early.
Really? You think
It
like
started,
as soon as you had the baby, or you think before, or
maybe not as soon as I had her. I think it started for me maybe a month after she was born. And for the first month, my sister stayed with me. So it's like I had someone there during the day to help. It was kind of like the same thing. Like I didn't really, for a little bit, the first month, outside of going to like her doctor's appointments, which really I didn't have to do those by myself because Colin went with me.
Yeah, I would
For the
say
most
I
part,
didn't.
he went with me. Or my sister went. Like I had someone with me the whole time. So once she left, it literally, I remember when she left and we took her to the airport, that shit hit me like a ton of fucking bricks.
Like I'm about to be alone with this
I immediately
child.
just like, I felt like literally somebody sitting on my chest. Like I wanted to just cry immediately. And then it was just like downhill from there. And I always liken postpartum depression to, you ever see like those shows or like movies wherever and like someone dies and then like they're kind of like floating above their body. They can see everything that's going on, but they're like, that's me, but I'm also me. So
that's how my dreams are a lot of times.
Yes, that's how it was for me. It was just like I was looking at everything happening, but I was just completely disconnected. Just mentally not even in the room. I just got to go through the motions. I just got to figure it out. And it was something that like I knew baby blues was a thing, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna last that long. Like I'll establish a routine and I'll do all of these different things, and it was just like establishing a routine didn't work. I was like, okay, I do sleep. I sleep when she sleeps. Every day we're taking a nap at the same time every fucking day, and we're gonna go to sleep at like 1:30, and I'm gonna get up. We will be asleep till like 4:00 every day. And I'm just like, okay, let her sleep for a little bit, wake her up, try to do something to fill in the next couple hours until it's time for her to actually like go to bed. Which, with a newborn, it's like, it's 10:30.
What is go to bed?
You still awake at 10:30.
Yeah.
Like it was just a lot trying to figure out how to gain back some sense of normalcy. Like nothing stops running. Food still got to be made. Now you got to make 2 meals. You got to make food for you to eat, and now you got to produce food for your baby to eat. So it's like doing all of those things. It was like, okay, I'm functioning, but I don't feel good. And I didn't know what it was. I couldn't tell anybody because I didn't even know how to put it into words, what I feel. I just feel like
how to describe it.
It's just like, I'm just here. I wake up because I woke up today. Not because I had really any desire to. It was just like,
well, another day.
Here we go. Let's just go throughout.
Now, this might be a controversial and a little bit of invasive question, but I think it's important for us to talk about, especially because I have not experienced postpartum depression. Did I experience baby blues and fear from being a mom and having an infant? Yes. Do you think that, how do I want to preface this? Because I do think that anybody can get postpartum depression. Do I think having a village helps kind of sway and control it better? Sure. But do you think that your mental state of mind prior to pregnancy and giving birth, like have you ever had depression or any type of... Okay. So do you think women who have had depression previous to giving birth, do you think that that's just another form of it? Do you understand what I'm trying to ask? I'm trying to be politically correct and sensitive.
No, for me, I don't think it was the same. The level of depression that I felt outside of having a baby was different. And that's why it was just so like shocking to me, because feeling depressed wasn't new to me. That's something that I already felt for years before. So I already knew what that was. I know what that looks like. I can put the words to it. I know exactly how I feel. It was a different level. Like I never felt nothing emotionally like that. Which was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like, bitch, I could deal with depression. I could be depressed. I'm fine. I have figured out how to not necessarily make that go away, but at that point, I figured out how to mask that and go on just fine. Live a life, be happy, and just go. This, I was like, I don't know.
You couldn't even mask it.
I couldn't even mask it. I couldn't even like, I can't put, I don't know what to call it or how to say it. I couldn't figure it out for myself. So I damn sure couldn't tell anybody else or raise my hand or ask for help. I just couldn't. It just felt like every day more shit was happening. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I would look myself in the mirror from that. Like, I don't even recognize the person staring back at me. I don't know who that bitch is.
Yeah. And you feel like it was all emotional.
It was emotional and it also was physical. Like after having a baby, I feel like people talk about the pregnancy and all these things, like how to prevent stretch marks and how to do all these things. But nobody talks to you about once you push that baby out and they sit that motherfucker on your chest, nobody talks to you about anything else. It's like, the book is over.
Take it home.
Close the book. Take it home. I don't know. I can't help you from there. And for me, I feel like that's a lot of the issue. Is there's nothing to gauge. Like, okay, is what I'm feeling okay, or do I need to do something different? It just was too difficult, and I feel like once you have a baby, a lot of the focus as soon as you deliver becomes on the baby and less
everything
about
is about the baby.
Even when you go to doctor's appointments, doctors ask you, do you feel like hurting yourself or your baby? And in your mind, it's like, well, maybe I don't have postpartum, because if I don't feel that extreme, then this is not what this is. Even when postpartum is talked about, you usually hear about it from, not from them, but you hear it in cases where mothers actually do hurt their kids. And then it's like, that's postpartum.
Yeah.
Not being like, just being uncontrollably depressed and not knowing where to place your feelings, not physically feeling like yourself in your body, like all the things that postpartum actually is. Nobody ever discusses it. It's like, if you don't want to kill yourself or your baby, you don't have postpartum. Right. And I think that's why for a lot of mothers, we suffer with it, because there's no gauge. There's no nothing. It's just like, you call to make a doctor's appointment or you go to the appointment, they're going to ask you that one question. If your answer is no, then they're done.
You're fine. Yeah.
You're fine.
But don't you think,
let's strip the baby.
It is. I think that is true. But I also think it's hard to even come up with some type of system or gauge or whatever, because it shows up different in everybody. There's so many different levels of extreme or non-extreme. I think also a lot of times we as women are so used to saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Some of us don't know when we're not fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I feel different, but because even with me, I feel like I worried so much about not getting postpartum depression that, like, I could have almost tricked myself into thinking that I had it if I was like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I would literally talk to myself and be like, are you really okay? Like, you know, it sounds comical, but it's
one of those things you can psych yourself out of.
Yes.
Like I've said it so many times that if you say something over and over and
you'll
over
start
and over,
to believe it.
Eventually you'll start to believe that it's true.
Yes.
So yes, I think it's, at a certain instance, it's just like, am I? Is it? Is that this? Is it around that corner? Is it over there? Is it up there? Like, you are looking for it at every which way.
Like, and is it coming for me? Is it coming?
It just, like, it doesn't work like that. It's not just like, just don't go to the left. Only make right turns, and you'll never bump into it. You don't know.
You don't.
It's going to show up whenever the fuck it shows up. If it does. For some people, it doesn't. You could have the best life circumstances or the worst life circumstances, and it doesn't mean that it's going to happen to the person that has the worst circumstances or the person that has the better one. It's a mixed bag. You don't know. It's a mystery box. You don't know what you're going to get.
Not even that. I feel like physically, mentally, emotionally, all these things, it is traumatizing to go from not pregnant to pregnant all this time to literally
not pregnant again.
5 minutes, you're not pregnant again. Like, there have been so many times, and I had a C-section, right? There'll be so many times I'll just be walking around. I see the baby right there, but I feel something in me. Why do I feel kicking? The phantom kicks.
The phantom flutters. Nobody see, that be the thing that people
like. Why do I feel that? Is there
experience it? But nobody says like, oh, that's a thing. Like you're gonna feel. You'll feel that.
Like your body was used to hosting a human for all this time.
For 10 months.
It's out now, but it's still, your body is confused. That's why I feel like mentally, it's a mind fuck. Like it's
mentally,
confusion.
it's a mind fuck. It's the mixture of hormones all over the place. I am of the belief, I don't think you can necessarily diagnose someone or tell them that they have postpartum right away, because because there's so many changes that are going on within that 6 to 8 week span of time after giving birth, that your body is still trying to return back to normal. Your uterus is shrinking, all of these different things. Your hormones are all over the place. If you're breastfeeding, okay, now your hormones are all over the place again.
And can we talk about, if you're breastfeeding, your period can come immediately, or it could come like in a year and a half. Like
it could
literally,
come in a year.
even
there's so much shit that
so much
happens, and it's no set standard, because it doesn't happen to every single person the same way. You know, the thing is like, oh, if you're breastfeeding, you can't get pregnant. Bitch, that's a motherfucking lie.
Goddamn lie.
People be trying to figure out how people be having kids. Like, wait a minute. Your kids is 11 months apart? Or, yeah, they're 11 months apart because you thought you was breastfeeding and you wasn't going to get pregnant. And then it was like, oh,
you was wide open, baby.
Like, even though you're not having a period per se, the eggs is still egging. They still dropping. They still every month switching sides. Like, it's still taking place. It's just, you're not bleeding. So even in that, it's like your body's normal function is like, my body ain't even functioning properly. I don't know what's going on. So to then have like the emotional toll going on, the physical toll of after you give birth. No, this ain't no TV shit. You don't give birth and then look like this. You give birth and you still look pregnant. Like, nobody told me that. I was like, what is this? Like, I don't know what I thought.
Like, why do you still look 5 months?
I look 6 months pregnant. Oh,
the baby is gone, but everything else is not.
Everything else is still there. And you got to figure that out. So just, even for me, I'm like, I didn't like the way I looked. I'm like, I don't like this.
Me either. And I didn't like the way I looked for a completely different reason. Like, a lot of women stress about losing their baby weight. Me, I dropped it too quick. I was so small. It looked unhealthy. That was stress number one in breastfeeding and not eating. That was that. It's stress because it's like, okay, I'm working a full-time job while still caring for a child. My husband is finishing up law school and now studying to take the bar, making sure he's good. Like, all these different factors. Like, it is so, it's a mind fuck. It's so crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it honestly, for me, it was like, I want it so bad for it to be that I just don't like the way that I look. I want it so bad for that to be the thing. Because it was like, okay, I was 190 when I gave birth, which is how, seeing as I lost 15 pounds in the beginning.
Hello, I didn't tell you about that either.
Hello, like,
oh my god.
So to be 190, I'm like, I'll never forget when they said, I said, excuse me,
not me knocking on 200.
Me, bitch, what? I was like, oh hell no. I'm big as a fucking whale. 190.
And when you're not used to that, like, if your resting weight is goddamn 140 and you 190, like,
was it was insane.
Uncharted territory for me.
Yeah, so I lost the weight from breastfeeding, but everything else was just there. Like, when I was pregnant, I couldn't tell that I had stretch marks. I couldn't tell, because everything was so stretched out. It was fine. And then, like, one day at like month 8, I looked, I said, what is this on my, like, hip? Well, it looked like it was my hip at the time, but post baby, like, love handles. I'm like, what is that?
Now I got a love handle now.
Girl, I almost fainted. I was like, oh, what? This is me. I didn't have stretch marks the whole time. And then once you have that fake pregnant looking belly, you're like, oh, I have way more than I thought. Like, it's just like loose, flappy skin just there. You're like,
yeah.
God, that is so.
I didn't get stretch marks until literally.
I didn't get them until like
my 9th,
7.
Mine didn't come to like 8 or 9, like right when it was like at the end. And then once I gave birth, I had the C-section, so I was binded up like a lot. Yeah. So once I finally looked, I was like, oh yeah, that's not bad. But then Honestly, a couple months, maybe once Celine was like 7 months, I looked down at my stomach one day. Why does my stomach look like an oatmeal cream pie?
Nobody wants to talk about that. And I just be like,
to this day, I'll be still like,
that shit is a mind fuck in itself. It's
because
just like,
I never got dark stretch marks. All my stretch marks are light. And like, it's still there. Even now, it's still there. Like,
it's just one of those things that you don't know.
You don't know. But
you don't know.
I also, I'm going to let you make your next point. But I think we should also talk about the mothers in the videos that I saw. They were moms who were losing their spark and their kids are grown. So I want to touch on that. So finish your point.
Yes. But yeah, I think for like us who've experienced it with like while your kid is a baby, it's really difficult. It's difficult. And I felt like no matter the village, and sometimes I'm like, and I think some of it was me like being extremely hard on myself. Like I would be like, I lived 10 hours away. So I'm like, maybe if I was by my mom or I didn't move, I wouldn't feel like, maybe I would have, if I had help, I wouldn't feel like this. And it wasn't that that my family wasn't helpful or that my husband wasn't helpful. I feel like at one point I saw my parents every single month, but it just was like when they would leave, it was like the first time they left every single time. Like they would leave and I would go cry immediately.
And I think we've even talked about this like as friends. It's like you were the first of our friend group to have a child. And it was kind of like because of your personality and even us, like I'm not an invasive friend. Like I'll throw little nuggets and see like I knew something was going on with you. Like even when Michelle was living down there, I plenty of times like, can you go check on Trey? Just, go see, pop around, like sort of thing. But I feel like we don't know how to show up. We don't know what you need. Like for me, it's like, I'm the type of person, like, just let me breathe your air and sit in a room with you. But I can't do that. So it's kind of like, I didn't know how to even show up as a friend. Like, you okay? The baby's good. You don't need diapers. You don't need anything. So I can't physically buy anything and send it to you. Like you get what I'm saying? So it's like, even with that,
it's just kind of like, I can't tell you how to help because I don't know.
Right. And even that is difficult. Like
I don't know. Like I really, the baby's fine. That's all I have. Like she's fine. She's fed.
And it's like, okay, even with you, it's like, well, what do you need? Nothing. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I don't fucking know. I really don't know. And it's difficult to put those things into words. But I think for mothers that feel like I'm losing my spark, I think we have to be very careful about what it is. Everybody is not experiencing the same thing. Like some people, if it's just a physical thing, it's just like, I don't really feel like myself. I feel like I used to be so like sexy or all these things. Now I don't feel that way about myself. Some things are physical. You may feel like, okay, if I get back in the gym and try to put myself back together, okay, do I feel, I feel better now. In my mind, what I look like and what I see in the mirror now match and we're good.
But that's also, I feel like where the village comes into place though, because I think a lot of moms lose themselves or lose their spark because they don't have space and opportunity to be. Like there's no such thing as be who you used to be or have a sense of normalcy. After you have kids, there's no normal. You can't go back. That person is gone. She's gone. She's gone. Christina's gone. Christina's never coming back. Okay. Bye, Christina. Okay. So like I don't like the idea of like snapping back or getting back to who I used to be. You'll never be her again. Let it go. How do we move forward? But I feel like if a woman doesn't have the help, like you could have a kid that's 8, 6, 10, right? But with that, you got to work every day. You got to take care of these kids. You have to do all these things. If you don't have space for self-care or to just hang out with your friends or do different things, it's easy to lose yourself. If you just go from work and go home and take care of kids all day, some people don't find the value of getting all dolled up and doing different things like that. So it's like, how do you find time for you? And getting your hair done and getting your nails done, that's maintenance. That's not self-care. I don't care what anybody says. That's maintenance. I want to look like a presentable human being in this world. So yes, I'm going to go get those things done. But that's not self-care. That's maintenance.
There's a different.
So I feel like the village, like, how many times have you heard from an older woman in your family or someone like, you need to keep yourself together because you got a husband, you need to help keep yourself together. Well, how about you help me? How about that? Why do I have to beg and plead and ask for someone to watch my child? Why do I have to, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if the village was villaging, then maybe the mom wouldn't go through because some people, like you said, it could be mental, it could be they don't like how they look, it could just be I don't have help.
Yeah, sometimes it's just stress. It's the stress of trying to do everything on your own. And like, I feel like I need to make it clear, just because I lived 10 hours away, I feel like I had help. Like, if I call my mom, like, Mom, I need you now, she will be on a flight the same day. And come and help. Or when I would come home, if I would go to Maryland, I never felt like bringing Harper with me was like a burden. And I think a lot of times when new mothers are made to feel like them asking for help or someone else watching their baby is a burden, then it's just like, oh, I don't want to ask for help anymore. And that continues to make it worse. It's like, we can't say that, oh, we're here to help, tell us what you need, and then not do that. Because then it's kind of just like, you're just saying it just to say it. You don't really want to help. The way that my parents were, like, when we would come to Maryland, they would be looking at us like,
why are y'all here?
Why are y'all here? Still to this day, they be like, y'all don't got nowhere to go, nothing to do. And I'm like, oh, well, excuse me, let me go find some shit to do. Because they understood that. And I don't think anybody really knew what was going on with me personally, because I didn't share that with anyone. But my parents did help in a sense of
being present.
And they still do to this day. When Harper goes there or when we go there, they always have something planned for them to do. And it's just like, okay, I don't never get invited. Or I have something else that I need to do. And it's just like, great, you have your time. I have my separate time because it's necessary and it's needed. But so it's like, yes. And I'm cognizant that everybody doesn't have the same level of help. Everybody doesn't have parents or friends or whatever who are just like, I can take your baby. It's okay. You can go and do whatever it is. Even if you just want to go sit in the house by yourself, you can go and do that. Your baby is safe with me. But also that comes from the mother being able to be like, okay, I can give you my baby. That's a feat in itself. It's just like, here, I'm going to give you my baby, but I really don't want you to take my baby, but I need you to take my baby because
that was my biggest thing.
I need help. I need.
I think for me, accepting the help and asking for help was my biggest thing. Like but both of them were my thing. Like, I never necessarily had to ask for help, but I feel like a lot of times I wasn't offered help because I wasn't accepting of the help, if that makes sense. Like, my mom, for example, when Celine was first born, we lived with my parents, and I literally every night will be up with her, just up with her, doing this, doing that. We would listen to Beyonce, Chris Brown. That's probably why she like that now, to be honest with you. Like, the Renaissance album went triple platinum. Okay, in Celine's early days. Okay, that's the only thing to get her stop crying. That daggone Beyonce and Key Brown, as she calls him. So yeah, but my parents were right upstairs, but I would never allow them to just take her upstairs so I could sleep. Like, I always felt like, no, I got it, and it's like, I don't know, because I, as a person, just never want to feel like I'm a burden, which means I don't want my kid to be a burden. And the minute that I feel like my kid could potentially be a burden, I'm not going to ask for help. So even I had to get out of that, to the point where, like, my mom, like, if she wasn't working or whatever, she would just come down and just take Celine and just go upstairs. Not even ask, like, oh, can I take her? She would just go do it. Because if you ask, I'm be like, I'm fine. But if you don't ask, I ain't going to stop you. So it's
it's one of those things. I feel like it does get better, but you have to actively work at making it better. Postpartum does not just dissipate and go away, because once you are in that depressed state, it's hard to get out. It is hard to get out. It is not.
How were you able to pull yourself out of it? Or not even pull yourself, but how were you able to get over that?
It took a long time. It honestly took a long time, and it was a real struggle, and it was a real fight. Like I said, it lasted 2 years. And some days it was just like, so a lot of days it was like, I can't take no more. I cannot take another day. And it was just like, okay, what you gonna do?
Do you feel like gradually
I think
it got better, or one day you just woke up and it was gone?
No, it was work in progress. It was something that once I identified what I felt like was going on, then it was kind of that's the first step. It's like you have to recognize that postpartum depression and actual depression are two different things. There's too many, there's different things, because postpartum depression is mixed in with sadness, it's mixed in with anxiety. It's so many different emotions, and I feel like that's why it's not diagnosed, is because there's so many things. It's like you may talk to a therapist and be explaining it, and your therapist's like, oh, well, that's anxiety, so I can give you something for the anxiety. Okay, the anxiousness might go away, but bitch, I'm still depressed. This ain't working. Something else. So it was one, identifying what I felt and gradually fixing the small little pieces. It was like, okay, if I feel anxious about this thing, what is this? What is it that's causing me the anxiety? When I feel anxious, what am I doing when I do that?
Yeah.
So it was like, it was kind of like tackling the small little pieces. Like, let's unpack this one thing. Once we feel like we're resolved with this, now we can move on to something else. You can't do Rome wasn't built in a day. You are not going to fix it and heal yourself in a day. And a lot of it is actually being able to not just recognize it within yourself, but to say it out loud. Whoever that is that you trust, whether it's your partner, your friend, your mama, whoever it is, you have to be able to say it out loud. Because if you don't say it out loud, it's not real. We know a lot of shit internally.
Yeah.
But you can't do nothing with it until you need to say it out loud. Like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. This is what we got to do. And for me, it's like, I just noticed it was trickling down in all these other areas of my life. And I was just like, okay. I honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for COVID, it probably would have lasted longer.
Really? You think COVID brought it out for you?
Yeah, because I was at home. I wasn't working. So it wasn't like work was my escape. She wasn't going to daycare. So daycare was an issue. When she was still on breast milk, that daycare, it was not helping. It was making it worse because I couldn't keep up with the amount they were feeding. What they were feeding her. I could not produce as much. My job at the time, when I was there, I couldn't even pump in peace. I literally had to fight to have to have blinds put up in my office. I would literally put a sign on the door to tell people do not disturb, and still somebody will read that fucking sign and knock on the fucking door. It's like, I can't do shit without y'all fucking bothering me.
Like,
so
I
now
literally have a kid that I have to produce food for. Like,
being told by my male manager that he doesn't want to pay the cost to put commercial blinds, mind you, work for a multi-billion-dollar company, didn't want to spend $600 to put up blinds. Told me I should go pump in the bathroom. So it's just like, I'm dealing with all of this shit. I'm just like, I'm a manager. I got to manage all these people. I don't even want to fucking show up to work. I could barely get myself to get out the fucking car when I get to work because I'm crying in the fucking parking lot. I can't get my shit together. I can't pump. So I'm not making enough food. My boobs are engorged by the end of the fucking day.
Leaking everywhere. Oh my gosh. I used to
everywhere. Then I
just
get
walking around with milk stains.
Yes. Go pick her up from daycare. Every ounce of milk is gone. And I'm like, I'm over sending milk. I'm sending you 24, 28 ounces every day. She shouldn't even be eating this much.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, what are y'all doing?
And I can't replace what I can't replace it because I can't function at work. I don't have time to take a lunch break. I can't pump multiple times a day because people won't even let me fucking pump in peace. So it was just that it was just making it worse. It was like everything was a pile on. Everything was a pile on every single day. So once I left that job in 2019. Yeah, so she was over 1 at that point, but I still felt that she wasn't on formula. Then when I went to my new job, it was a little bit better. It was better. I still kind of got that, oh, I'm new kind of thing going on. So I was able to kind of relax a little bit, sit in my, oh, I'm new. I don't know how to do anything and just be new. But after that was over, once COVID hit, it was like, okay, here we are. You can't run from this no more. It's here. Colin was there. She's there. okay, now
There's no
we
more
gotta figure it out.
avoiding.
There's
You
no
can't
more
avoid.
avoiding anything. You got to figure it out. You got to say what's going on. And even with that, for me, it was a lot of self-sabotage. It was a lot of self-sabotage, running away from everything, because I'm just like, I just can't deal with this. So I'm ready at this point to just remove everything and everybody. Got to get the fuck away from me, because I can't deal with this. And I mean, luckily, Colin wasn't the kind of man to just be like, to just walk away, because I was like, you gotta go. You can leave. Bye. Like, get away from me. But he wouldn't leave. And so when I had to tell him, like, I'm not okay, that was the like worst thing I feel like I've ever had to do. That was the biggest Band-Aid I had to rip off. And I was just like, I don't want to say this.
Were you more so just afraid of like how he would handle it or react?
No.
Or is it just like, did you feel shame? Like, what was...
I felt ashamed because I was fucking shit up left and right. So I felt the shame from it, but also I knew once I say it, like the kind of person that he is, once I say it, I can't take it back. Now once you say it out loud, you must deal with this right now.
And he's gonna be on that ass.
Deal with it right now. You cannot just be like, okay, and go back to it. So
yeah,
and we ain't got shit to do but look at each other all fucking day. So
you can't go nowhere, can't do nothing.
Can't go nowhere, can't do nothing. So it's like, boom, you must deal with it. Now, some of that is going to therapy, and that did help, just to be able to sort through things and place things, put them in their appropriate buckets and be able to tackle one thing at a time. But even when I felt like, okay, I think I feel better now, I don't need to do this consistently. You realize that once you stop doing the work and it comes back up, because it will come back up, what you gonna do?
Right.
And it was a couple cycles of me just making the same mistake over and over and over again. And then just being like, okay, this is clearly not fucking working. So now we got to try something different.
Yeah.
And just having to do something different. And I was like, okay. But I had to relinquish the control and just be like, I got to do different. And that's kind of just what it was. I wish it was something that I could say. It's just like, if you don't do this, then this is the solution to it. But I don't feel like, I feel like the only thing really that could potentially help mothers is to have focus on the mother's mental health, not just post-pregnancy. No, not just snapping back, not just post-pregnancy, but I am a believer that I feel like there should be a therapist, some kind of mental health professional in OB's offices. They should have to, I feel like they should be required to have someone. So that way, while you're pregnant, you can talk to someone, because people go through different emotional changes while they're pregnant, that they need help figuring out how to deal with the changes that are going to come. And even when the postpartum stage starts, because everybody goes through postpartum. When you deliver said baby, you are now in postpartum. Everybody doesn't have the depression part. So that is very key. Don't be like, oh, it's postpartum. It's postpartum. If you gave birth to someone,
you're going through postpartum.
It's all postpartum.
Yes.
It's postpartum. So doing that, it was like, okay, now that we're at the postpartum, now I'm in postpartum, now what? And I feel like doctors, baby's gone, I'm done.
Yeah, they come call you in, check you for that little, oh, how's your uterus doing? Everything going back. They
push you in your stomach and be like, okay, you good? Your birth control options, here it is. Depending on what your options, you can start the pill today. If you want to do an IUD, you can come back at 4 weeks and we can put it in. Okay, great. That's about the much care as the mom is going to get. And I feel like in the space of like the medical field, that mental health needs to be, those things need to go in tandem. It's not enough to know that it exists and acknowledge that postpartum depression exists or that baby blues exist, but what are we going to actively do to help mothers before it gets to, do you want to hurt yourself or your baby?
Like there's so many things.
That should not be our only question.
Literally. There's levels to this.
Yes, that's just one thing that I feel like should be instituted. Like doctors need to educate mothers about what's going to happen after said baby. So you're prepared, even when it's just hormonal changes, you're prepared for these changes to start happening. And to have someone who specializes in mental health to be like, now be this one of your appointments. Now you need to come in and you need an evaluation. You need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's what it is, honestly. So it's like, I'm happy that people are sharing their stories because it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Everything is just not rainbows and roses. Like it's just not. You got to be able to talk about it and see that, oh, other people, other women that look like me, same racial background as me, same age as me, like, oh, it doesn't skip over anybody.
Yeah. And it can show up in so many different ways. And like you said, I do think it has a trickle down effect to other areas of your life, not just postpartum depression, but postpartum in general. Like even with me having like baby blues and like going through that whole fear of leaving the house with my kid. And then it also turned into like, well, I also hate my job. Like I need to figure out what am I doing with my life? Like what career am I going to have? What am I going to do with this, do that? And I feel like when you have a kid and someone that is depending on you, that elevates all of those thoughts. So it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
It's an interesting thing. It's very kind of like difficult sometimes, but it is.
Listen, you're going to be all right. You're going to make it over. You're going to make it over.
You're going to make it over to the other side. Yes, ma'am. Oh, show. That was a lot.
How many times you thought I was about to cry?
Girl, I always think you're about to cry.
I know. That's what I'm asking. Because I wasn't.
You were. About a solid 3. Solid 3 times. And it's so crazy because you don't cry like that. I mean, you be crying.
Yeah. I'll be crying. I'll be crying laughing. I'll be crying.
You'll be crying, but it's like nobody would know.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I could look you in the face and I'm like,
the tears is coming.
Like, don't start fucking crying right now because if you start crying, I'm gonna start crying. Like,
literally, the tears will just straight face just.
It's so.
I feel like fuck rolling down my face.
I feel like it's one of those things that we know so much about each other. And I think we've talked about like my experience in spurts, but never just like, I don't think I've ever just like spelled it out for you, like top to bottom, like this is really what I was going through. And like, so I feel like when I say certain things, I'm like, she's about to start crying because that's news to her. She didn't know that part.
Me, bitch. What Chris said, this tea for me. This
like you didn't know about that part. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay. But I feel like that about everybody. Well, not everybody. Only the people who are the closest to me do I really like care about it. It's like, oh, if I say it, you know, once I say this, now it's real. And it's not about me saying it like, oh, you have to do something. There's nothing to do at this point.
But this is just this is what it is.
But this just it is what it is.
I will say that like the more and more we have these different conversations, even when I think back about like different things that were going on during that time period and everything, I think it just adds context to like, okay, she did say this, but I didn't really dig, so we didn't get to that part of it. So it's like, okay, adding this context to that context to this, I get the whole picture.
Yeah, like it's like 2 + 2 starts equaling 4. It's like, okay,
like, okay, the math mathing. Okay.
The math mathing is making a lot of sense now. Yeah. So I think that's what it was. And part of it was just like shame. It's like, I didn't want to say it out loud. And I didn't want to say it to you. I didn't want to have to say it to my mom. I didn't want to have to say it to Colin. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because God help me, I tell all 3 of y'all, then y'all going to be in cahoots with one another.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This motherfucker's going to have me in a padded cell somewhere with my arms wrapped around my back.
No, I'll never forget when you went to the hospital to give birth. Oh, I was waiting for them updates. I was up all goddamn night. Your mom texted me, Colin texted me, sending me pictures. I'm like, okay. Like literally. I ain't text you not one time. I didn't even call you. I remember the first time I actually called you after giving birth. I definitely texted Colin. I gave him the eyes. He said, "Oh yeah, she could talk." I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
yes, because it just be a lot.
And I will say, I feel like a lot of people who listen to this, they're not going to understand the fact of like us being as close as we are, but having respect and boundaries, right? Yeah. I'm someone, I do not like my boundaries being crossed. I don't give a damn who you are, even my mama. I don't like that. So I feel like with a lot of other female friendships or best friendships, relationships, whatever, there's no boundaries. A lot of times you can find yourself or they can find themselves overstepping boundaries. And now you have issues with your friendships. Like I'm never overstepping boundaries with my friend, with her relationship, her parentship. Like there's just certain things. If you bring it to me, we could talk about it, but I'm not stepping over without that, you know, the hint, like, hey, step over the fence. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, because
And
that
I feel
is
like
how grown adult friendships should work. Like everything is
yeah,
not just, oh, I'm all in people's business.
yeah,
Sometimes it's like, yes, we're friends, but your personal life is your personal life.
yeah.
You have to be willing and ready to tell me the information, and then we can do something about it. I'm not just about to be prying and like, well, what y'all doing? What y'all got going on? How do you feel about this? How do you like? I'm
Yeah.
not doing this. I'm also not diagnosing you. Like, I'm not about to do that. I'm gonna ask you one question. The response that you give, I have no choice but to go along with that. Now, if I continue to see other things, it's like, are you sure?
Like, I'll never. Like, if I felt like you were in danger, like that's different.
Danger.
That's just anyway. You know, we do so good until we don't. And that's what I be talking about. I don't know why people think we so serious. Like, we can't even. We sitting over here supposed to be talking about postpartum depression and shit, and she over here.
Thinking I'm mystical. I'm so sorry. Anytime anybody says danger, that's what my mind does.
And you want to know where my mind goes? My mind goes, danger. She smashed the homie. That's what I think about. That's where my mind goes. And my mind is danger. She smashed the homie. And if you don't understand that reference, I don't, there's nothing I can say. Like, it is what it is.
But yeah, that was lots. We always have some shit to unpack. I'm so sorry, people.
Yeah.
But yes, to all the mommies out there, it is truly a mixed bag. There is support. You just have to know what that looks like for you, and ultimately what you want. And you can create that. And don't try to give yourself something that you don't have. If you don't have postpartum depression, that is okay.
Yeah.
You're not supposed, it's not supposed to be.
You're not less of a mother.
You're not less of a mother if you don't get it. It's fine. It truly is fine. So just stay like that. Like, don't try to like, motherhood is not a copy paste thing. Like, just because she did it, don't mean you got to do it.
Right.
If she went through it, does not mean that you have to go through it to equate that, oh, I'm a mother. I'm a good mother because I went through these things. I wouldn't wish this shit on my worst fucking enemy. I would not. So if you don't, thank your lucky stars that you don't.
Amen.
And yeah, so on that note,
well, we'll see you guys in episode 53.